Hello, everybody. This is Fernando for the latest Silent Hill podcast. Alright, let's talk about another monster here, encounter within Silent Hill 4, The Room video game. This one being a mishmash of sorts when it comes to various real life animals that in the twisted world of Walter Sullivan, he has created yet a new monster to deal with. Probably the closest thing to approximate this monster to is a nuisance because it's not really dangerous. It can be easily avoided. It's just something it seems like if you truly wanted to inspect the areas that you're in, then you'll have to take care of this monster. Otherwise, one could easily just run around and then not have to deal with it too often. It has to do with this, which is a weird creature of sorts called the Hummer, and it's located throughout various portions of the game. The first time I saw it was within the video, once Henry was able to go outside towards a more foresty type area, and then going into a locked do not enter type building. That's where these monsters are first encountered. So what are these flying creatures known as the Hummer? Well, as I mentioned earlier with regards to that mishmash, if you were to take a mosquito, mix it with a bat, and then also mix it with a bird, then you would have something along these lines. They're about the size of, let's say, a small bird of some sort. They attack just as birds as well, and this is because they contain various features to their advantage. For starters, they have these wings that flap around very, very quickly. It allows them to essentially traverse left and right, go forwards and backwards with ease. So wherever you're running as a character, in this case of Henry Townsend, then you'll have to deal with these creatures and their ability to basically follow you anywhere. The next feature that they have to their advantage is their beaks. They have these needle-like beaks that they use to attack. I was mentioning earlier that they're more of a nuisance in the sense that when they do attack you, they do cause some harm. In fact, the little health meter that I was watching as they were attacking Henry in the video showed it was just a fraction of harm each time one of those needle-like beaks hit Henry. But if you multiply that by multiple of these, let's say, Hummers, then yes, you do have something in terms of some quick depletion of health if you allow that to happen. And then the next thing that they have to their advantage happens to be the fact that they can get back up. So in the video that I was watching, the main user, he was using his melee weapon, in that case the long pipe, and as he was swinging it, he would hit the Hummer and they went down. No, but was that the end? No, it was not, because what happened afterward was after about maybe 10 to 15 seconds, then these creatures got back up and you had to go through the whole cycle again. So sure enough, that user quickly learned. He now hit them once, and then this time went up straight towards them and then stomped on them. Just like I guess the sniffer dogs would be too. Like if they don't necessarily get stomped on, then they do get back up as well. By the way, they're called the Hummer because those wings that they use to flap very, very quickly, it creates a very distinct buzzing sound that announces their presence, by the way, which is a disadvantage to them. So when you hear this buzzing sound within the game, then you'll know that these Hummers are nearby. Plus, I believe they were also giving away their location from shadows. Like I saw the shadows of them as they were flying around hitting the ground, like the shadow on the ground itself, and so that gave an idea to the user that yes, there were some Hummers nearby. As far as other characteristics with them, they do attack in swarms, as I was mentioning earlier. Some of them attack on their own afterward. Like let's say the user playing Henry took care of some of them, left maybe one or two, and then they started to attack individually. But otherwise, they do attack in swarms, one after the other. So, and then also, if you have a bug spray, one of those devices, I guess, found within the game of the Silent Hill 4 The Room, then you can use this to your advantage. Apparently, it's the only weapon that has any effect on a monster. If you try to use it within any other monster, it won't work. But if you use it against the Hummer, then yes, you can do so. One other interesting thing about this Hummer is that it is a nuisance to Walter Sullivan himself. So if you're ever in an area where there's both these Hummer type monsters and then Walter about to attack you, if you can draw these Hummers straight to him, then he will attack them. He'll spend some time doing so. So, and when that happens, then that'll give you the advantage to essentially run away and then try to get to the next part of the game. As far as to what these monsters are supposed to represent, it seems like the theory is they basically represent everything that Walter found annoying within the real world, including flies, mosquitoes, and then also bats. The symbolism, though, seems to come from the fact that these may have been creatures that frequented his locations, like those bottom of the rung locations that he used to always live in, both homeless, in this case in the Silent Hill woods, and then growing up in the orphanage, and then later spending time in prison. These were all creatures that he would find in his environments because they were, again, considered places that were either very dangerous or skeevy or something along those lines. And so he would run into them frequently. And so now in his own world, his other world, he has created them into monsters that can attack others. So it's kind of like his revenge for all these things that annoyed him very severely when he was a real person. But that's it. Not much else information when it comes to this Hummer. Again, it's a creature of some sort found, but more of a nuisance. I could almost say like it's more like a cameo type creature because it doesn't really have too much of a presence within the game. So, but anyways, if anyone has any more information about these Hummers, any other distinct, I guess, trivia, anything else that stands out, please post those comments. That'll be very interesting to hear. So, all right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.